Yep.
I'm bad at intros. So, right, I'm joined by the hottest name in strength at the moment, Chloe Brennan, the second at the Arnold.
Yep.
Multiple world record holder, it turns out.
So, yeah.
And sort of representative of strong women in the world now. That's what you do.
That's really cool.
It is really fucking cool. You can swear and say what the fuck you want.
Excellent.
Just
I don't swear. I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll get to it. So first of all, it's super unlikely that people have clicked on this who don't know who you are. But for the two people who might have done that, if you're like the first paragraph on Wikipedia, something like that, who's Chloe Brennan?
Chloe Brennan is a very normal girl from the Midlands. I am a strength coach now, also a registered nurse, so I started coaching full-time last year. Strong woman, so I started Strong Woman in about 2016, 2017 after a short introduction to strength sports with an organisation called Iowa, which did
These people,
all sorts of weird and wonderful lifts. I fell into strength sports really, never really planned to do it, wasn't on my radar. My partner Matt got me into it. Never really left. Started, did pretty well, got on the podium at England's and Britain's Strongest Woman the first year.
Sure.
I competed as a lightweight. Have gone on to do pretty well in international shows, so I came 4th at my first Arnold, 5th at World's Strongest Woman, and then 2nd just at the Arnold. And now I'm on a new journey as a heavier Bren. I think that puts it
Chunky
all.
Bren is coming out.
That's it so far, really.
So, obviously, for people who might not really understand how Strong Woman works, you've competed as a under 63, which was 64 for a while, or 62. It changes.
Small.
Yeah, the smallest of the women.
People, yeah.
And you're going up into 73?
Yes, exactly.
Which is 2 years ago that sort of became a thing. Last year, maybe?
Yeah, so years ago they actually had an under 75 class at England's, which was before I started. And then they changed that to be in line with the Arnold.
Yeah.
And now there's been kind of this whole thing of actually that's a weight class that's really needed. A lot of women fall in that bracket. Yeah. So Official Strongman Games introduced it last year. It went down really well. It was a really stacked class. And then Chaos over here, I've started doing some comps with 73. Yeah. The England's and Britain's pathways now introduced 73, and with its growth in popularity, it just seems like a perfect class for me with my size and kind of. I'm just really restricted in the 64 class, so it's a perfect class for me to go into and see what happens. Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting to see what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you say, you've reached the point where to compete as a 64, you've got to be a bit unhappy for a few days and not really eat. And we were at the Arnold, me and Dale were going to Olive Garden every night, and you were eating I had a rice cake. Oh, great, that sounds really good.
Yeah, it's a weird one, because the cut this time wasn't that bad. I was on over 2,000 calories the whole cut. It wasn't horrendous, and I managed to get down. I only had to do a small water load, and that was more precautionary really than because I had to.
Yeah.
But the issue more, because I'm a robot, if I need to weight cut to compete, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
The issue is more with my static strength, and that at 64 kilos, I can't really put on any more muscle mass, which is what's restricting me. If you look at the rest of my weight class, they're all very short and stacked.
Yes.
And I'm very tall and lanky.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm already up there at moving events. I know I can compete with middleweights in moving events. It's just my static strength that's behind, and that's not going to get any better if I can't grow.
Yes, that makes sense.
It's got a lot better while I haven't been able to grow. But it's got to that point,
eat into comps and you can put a bit of muscle on and...
train without being in a deficit.
Yeah, just not be hungry anymore.
Yeah, so... That was the idea of actually, if you're a bit bigger, I wonder what the hell you could do.
Yeah, because there's a lot of 64s, 63s who should be 70, 72, 73 kilos. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of middleweights who would do a lot better at, I suppose, the lower middleweight, whatever they're going to call it.
Yeah.
So it does really fit that gap of actually letting people compete at the weight they should be.
Yes.
Which, like, I think one fighting championship make people compete in the weight class that they should be at, instead of cutting, 10 kilos in a week. And
it's such a big thing as well, like, especially with, when I work with newer clients, more specifically females, to be honest, and they're like, I want to get down to 64 kilos, and I'm like, you're going to be really unhealthy at 64 kilos.
Yeah.
And it's that we always want, we're conditioned right from when we're young to be smaller all the time. It's just lose weight. Any fitness, like most mainstream PTs, it's about fat loss, weight loss. That's all we see. And actually in strength sports, that's not optimal for performance. So I think the introduction of this 73 kilo class, actually, there's a lot of my girls now, I can just be like, well, actually, it doesn't really matter whether you're not too light for middleweight, because you can just fit into this new category. And
you're not giving 10 kilos away to an 82.
And concentrate on competing for the first time rather than losing weight.
I think it's, so with women especially, like you say, that whole, the media behind training and diet has always been be smaller. Mm-hmm. Like, eat one apple, black coffee and cigarettes, get skinny.
I mean, I didn't do the smoking thing.
But it's a
coffee.
Pretty sick diet. Not optimal for performance.
No.
And I think that transition towards, like, doing cool shit. Mm-hmm. Because strongman, it's fucking cool.
It's cool.
Like, you get to run with cars, and you happen to be the best in the world at doing that.
I did alright.
Like, that was fucking sick, that.
I like running with cars.
Like, I was watching that on the live stream, and I was like, God, that car's really heavy. Like, looking at, like, 15, 16-second runs, and I was like, that's fucking, maybe they went a bit heavy, and then, like, you turned out, I was like, oh, no. no, that's probably about right.
Yeah.
So that's your other world record?
Yes, which I didn't even know was a world record until we were out at the Arnold, and then was like, oh yeah, that's basically a world record. So he's going to officiate it all now.
That's really cool.
Brilliant.
Because Lynn, for people who don't know, is official strongman.
Yeah.
Who run OSG, they run Worlds. He just genuinely wants the sport to grow and be better. And it's cool that he's sort of hyped on you running with a car.
Yeah.
And also, like, who the fuck does that? Because, like, we've got, like, 400 athletes here this weekend.
Let's get them all in a car.
Let's make the hardest event to adjust and get ready for people. Did you know you were going to be good at that before you went out? Were you like, I'm just going to win this event?
Yes and no. Like, I knew it was a good event for me, and I knew I would come in the top handful because yoke's a really strong event for me. I'm known for being good at moving events.
Yeah. That's
where I get my points. But I'd never really done heavy yoke. So the heaviest yoke I'd ever done, I think, was like 220 prior to that. And that was 260, 250, 260.
Yeah, that was like really heavy.
Yeah. So I wasn't really sure how my speed at the lighter weights would transfer over to a heavier yoke. And even in training, like, we didn't go that heavy. So my runs were at like 220, 230.
Yeah.
And then I did like 3 and 2 weeks out, I think I did 5 meters heavy. And I went up to like 280, I think. It was like a 5 meter max.
Yeah, just to like feel heavy.
And it moved pretty well. So at that point I was like, oh, this could be fun.
I just need to do that a bit more and this will be...
And then when we went out there, I was staying with like Rhiannon, Luke, Bex, Annabelle, Andy, all of them. And they were like, you're going to win the car yoke. And Kate as well was staying with. Cannot forget Kate.
Oh, Kate Conley.
Legend, yeah.
Yeah, fucking A.
She's really strong.
She's strong as fuck.
Yes.
Like, it's disgusting.
So we were staying with everyone, and they were like, you're going to win the yoke. And I was like,
I'm going to try.
I'm going to try really hard. And then I did my run, and I was actually a bit annoyed at the run at the time. Like, I was happy that I'd finished it, but there was a point in the middle where I wobbled a little bit, and then I felt rapid at the end. I was so fast, and I was like, imagine if I would have gone that fast from the start. So I was kicking myself, like, I'm definitely going to get beaten. And then it turned out I beat second place by 7 seconds, so I did
that's
all right on it.
Like, quite a convincing...
Yeah.
Like, that's a good level of beating someone.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, by a quick yoke run.
Yeah.
Like, with a lighter yoke, you'd have done it in about 7 seconds, so you've beat them by a yoke run.
Yeah.
So that's handy.
It was cool.
So, obviously, you said you didn't go, like, heavy. Mm-hmm. In my training, people don't go heavy with moving events, because if you're slow with 200 kilos, you'll be slow with 300.
Yeah.
So with your coaching and you having clients now, is that something you sort of stick with all of them?
Yeah, absolutely. I always say, like, everything's about speed and technique, so it might be that they just work on acceleration, or they work on quick turns, or they work on, like, I'll give them a time limit in which they can, so it might be complete X distance in X time and work up to a weight that you can do within that. And I always kind of say, farmers is different because of a grip event, but like yoke holds and stuff, my view is if you can't move with it, you have no business touching it. Yeah. Which I know isn't what everyone was saying. A lot of people use that, but that's my approach as a coach.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty similar, but I like with some stuff, like obviously with the like pro open men, you can get up to like 450, 500 kilo yokes. Yeah. So we might do, like, we'll work up to heavier pickups. Yeah. But even then, you don't pick up comp weight. You just want to know, like, if the yoke's 450, if you can pick up 400 and hold it, 50 kilos is fuck all.
Getting a feel for it.
But seeing people do, like, 150% for holds, and you're like, are you going to run? Are you going to run with it? Because you'll turn to dust if you try and run with this.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing, isn't it? It depends. Like, if you've got a heavy yoke coming up in a comp and you need reassurance that you can pick it up and move it a centimetre so you don't zero the event, fair. Yeah. If you're training yoke in your off-season and wanting to get better at yoke, picking up 100 kilos more than you can run with is completely pointless and isn't going to benefit you at all.
Yeah, because use your off-season, get quick. Yeah. And then you're quicker, which is always good. That's how moving events work. Yeah. So we'll sort of... It'd be stupid not to recap the Arnold a bit. So we all got out to the Arnold. Weigh-in happened. Pretty comfortable weigh-in.
Yeah, really easy weigh-in. I ate before.
Sort of.
Well, yes. Sometimes, last Arnold, I wasn't allowed to eat or drink past 5 o'clock the previous night.
Shit.
So the fact that I had dinner at like 7 o'clock and then had some breakfast was nice.
You're in a nice place. And then next year, like, we can go to IHOP on the way to weigh.
We say that now. Well, I can't do the amateur next year now unless I'm a middleweight.
Which you will be.
Yes, I will be, but I'd have to qualify. I'm not sure how to do that.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out.
Because that would be cool.
I've got visions, though, of me being all like, I don't have to cut. I'm going to end up in like 76 kilos.
Just about I fucked off. Like the biggest cut you've ever done. So I'm just going to do the 80.
It opens, why not?
So you, from the Arnold, earned your pro card as a lightweight, which you're going to use probably 0 times.
Probably.
And then move up. But
it's a nice taste to have.
Because I don't really understand.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a pro card?
So, at the moment, pro cards work in Strongman Corporation, which is a federation primarily in the US. I think Canada have it as well. A few areas have it. And basically, how the pro cards work is they have amateur shows and pro shows. So there's 1 pro card available at the Arnold, and I think 2 or 3 pro cards available at America's Strongest Man and Woman. I'll leave that for other people to have an opinion on, but get my vibe here.
Give more pro cards out to the better
international
people.
Athletes, yeah. So, and your pro card is for your weight class, so I could go So the under 82 amateurs next year could compete, but I couldn't compete as a lightweight amateur.
Okay, so that's what Sam Bellevue did, where she's got her open pro card, but competed as a middleweight.
Yeah, and same with Jess Theaker as well in the middleweight. So she had a lightweight pro card.
But she's gone up a weight class.
Yeah. So I think lightweights can qualify for the Arnold Pro, but I think there's less opportunities.
Yeah.
And then middleweights and heavyweights at different pro shows, there are qualifying spots to the Arnold Pro, which is the big women's show.
So Holly McRae
has
got an invite to the Arnold Pro, I think.
I'm not sure if she's
looking on the. I think that's what it said on the results.
Okay.
But I'm not. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But last year or the year before, Beck Lorch, did she get her invite through winning?
No. So
she got it somewhere else.
I can't remember where she came at the Arnold, but she got her pro card somewhere. She might have already had it. I'm not sure. But she competed. Sorry about the aeroplane.
I thought you'd have called them.
She competed at the Pro America Strongest Woman, and that's where the qualifying spot was for the Arnold Pro. So she got through that way. Whereas Melissa Peacock, she won the Arnold Amateur Middleweight. Yeah. Got her pro card, and there was a qualifying spot from the middleweight show. But it wasn't from the lightweight. So Camilla, I don't know how to pronounce her surname.
I want to say Foglio.
Yeah,
Foglio.
Very strong. So she won a pro card there, but there wasn't an invite to the Arnold Pro for the lightweight there. So So it's all a bit confusing.
So in essence, no one really knows. I mean, like maybe 3 people know how it works, but none of them are athletes.
Yeah, maybe.
Like someone's got to know.
But I think the Americans are very in the know, and maybe Canadians. But over here, because Strongman Cup isn't really a thing, we don't know. And there's more and more opportunities over here now where you don't need a pro card, and there's Clash on the Coast where you don't need a pro card, and it's all about actually how strong you are, not what show you went to get the card.
There's the UK stuff as well. There's heavy comps that I suppose you would call pro level comps that you don't need to have gone through.
Prize money.
Yeah, which is nuts. I mean, it's nuts that it's a surprise.
Yeah, or it should just be.
Yeah, because if you sell tickets off someone, they should get prize money.
Absolutely.
It should be that simple.
Yeah.
I've made money because of women competing, so we should give those women some money.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be noteworthy.
No.
But it's fucking cool that it's finally people are starting to realise, I just can't imagine, a Britain's Strongest Man, if Darren and Colin came round at the end and were like, you owe us all 50 quid and you got a t-shirt, so cheers lads.
Yeah.
Well done. You got a trophy though, so...
Sport's moving on from that.
It's quick as well. It seems to be... Because I've always said, 8-9 years ago, Britain's Strongest Man was in a car park.
Yeah.
It's took time to grow. But the women's side at the moment seems to be on, an exponential curve to catching up with that. Maybe not the money, because, they took it off the telly because they wanted to put more adverts on. But I think it's so good to see that growth within the sport and outside of the sport as well. That, there's companies using strong women as advertising because they're fucking cool.
Yeah, it's wicked.
You see, even with Olympic weightlifters.
Yeah.
The women from Team GB are doing major advertising campaigns. There's strong women who have been Donna Moore's on every site at the moment, with MirrorFit, and people are pushing the fact that they're not you say, or you're not strong for a girl.
Just strong.
Yeah. And it's fucking cool to see that. Globally, it's starting to change a bit.
Yeah.
Because I think there's been, how do you phrase it gently? There's been an image problem with strong woman for a while, in the sense that historically, back when, strong men were dying every week from taking shit gear.
Yeah.
Strong women were taking the same. and I think it sort of maybe removes some of the femininity from like the public image of it. But that seems to be less of a issue now as well, in the sense that just celebrating people being strong, and not trying to just sexualize everything women do. So, you lifted the Dinny stones, but can you lift them wearing this fucking underwear so we can sell protein shakes?
And it's a weird one, because for me, like, I know I look very feminine. I look very normal. I think people who don't do strength sports would look at me and think, I look like her. I'm just an average, like what you'd expect your average woman to look like. Really.
You look like a woman who goes to the gym.
So I know that I don't look masculine, but in previous videos that have gone viral, there has been an outstanding amount of comments like, you look like a dude, where's your cock, blah, 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 which I was able to brush off because I'm like, whatever. But this time, with the Diddy video going so big, like, literally nothing. It's been overwhelmingly positive, and I think and hope that is showing progression in attitudes towards the sport.
You'd hope so, because like lifting the Dinny stones is cool as fuck.
It's fun.
So that should be the focus, rather than like, it wouldn't matter. Like, you could look like Brian Shaw in a wig, or you could look like you, but you've still lifted.
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah. So why attack people for doing cool shit? One thing I have noticed, and I'm slightly guilty of, but I've got Matt to do it for me. How do you... Because I've noticed quite a lot of strongmen going like, I just had to go at the Dinny stones because Chloe did it.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But then part of me is like, is that strongmen just trying to check if they're strong?
Interesting. I think I've had people message me very kind of shocked at how hard it is, and have been quite humbled by it. Like, Jack Osborne, who was like, the Dinnies, can't believe how hard it was. Like, and that's, I think I have a lot of respect for that, because to do something that a little girl has done and then say, actually, that's quite hard.
Yeah.
That takes some, to say that. To me, I've found it really cool that so many people want to start it, whether it's because they want to prove their masculinity, or whether because they're inspired and they think it's cool, they're still trying it. So for me, the kind of reason behind it doesn't really matter. I don't really care.
They're just doing something cool.
I just think it's really cool that people are doing something because they've seen me do it. Like,
it's
awesome.
No, it is really cool, because we've been obviously various group chats chatting to everyone, and it's like there's like 6 of us now who are like, oh, we want to go up and lift the Dinnies.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to Brett Nickel, and he's like, oh, we can do five a day. I'm like, we need 2 days.
He's amazing, Brett is.
Like, that's just like, from our mates who want to lift the Dinnies, it's like, we need 2 days of Dinny time.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot more demand for it.
Yeah, I sort of hope. So I was listening to a podcast on the way down with Bert Kreischer and Ari Shafir, and they were saying, like, part of the coolness of stuff is that it's yours and it's special.
Yeah.
And like, the Dinnies are quite an important thing, especially in like stone lifting generally, and then in Scottish stone lifting, like, the Dinnies are like special. So my only hope is it doesn't get diluted by fuckwits.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's really important to like our friends within that community as well. So me and Matt are actually doing like an ebook on the Dinnies at the moment, but one of the big things that we are putting in there is the history and the story behind it, because our opinion is, if you've not spent the time learning about them and what it means to people, then
like, lift them on pins.
It's a bit rude to go and lift them.
Yeah, like, lift the weight on pins and celebrate the accomplishment, like, numerically.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, and I know, like, for a few other people who are training for them at the moment, who you and Matt are helping out with stuff, that I'd rather fail lifting the dinnies than like just go up there and not give a fuck about it.
Yeah, it's that respect for culture and history, and that if you're listening and you're considering the dinnies, like seriously look into everything around it and the people involved in it and the current records and who's done what, and like names you need to know, like Jack Shanks, Jim Splain, Mark Haydock, Brett Nicol, like look them up, know who they are, and have respect for what they've done and appreciate that when you go to do it, because it makes it such a more magical experience. I had been around the dinnies for like 3 years before I attempted it, and every year I went up there they were like, Chloe, are you going to do it? And I was like, no, I don't deserve to do it yet. I need to wait. And like every time I went up there, it's just magical. So when I actually got the opportunity to do it, it was really special and it really meant something.
Yeah, because they are really fucking important.
Yeah. The people that don't know, they're just rocks. They're just stones.
Yeah.
But when you know more about it, it's just a much cooler experience.
Then like you realise like Mark Haydock's done, I think like 150 side-by-side lifts of them.
It's ridiculous. He lifted them side by side with me on one stone and Brett's son Roy on the other stone.
That's fucking mental.
Heavy, yeah.
He did, was it like 272 something on pins, and you're just like...
He is crazy.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But that's the thing you should know, because I want to lift them side by side, because it feels like if I saw them, that's how I'd try and lift them. Whether I could or not, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But to me, you see two things, like, I just want to pick them up.
Yeah.
But then when you realise, like, fuck, these guys are, like, really good at this and still can't lift them side by side. Like, oh, this is maybe tricky.
Maybe, yeah.
But I'd rather not lift them yet than, like, try, like, use straps, do this. Like, there's a lot of ways you can not make the dinnies easier, but get a bit of credit for them. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to do that.
You want to go balls to the wall.
Yeah, I just want to be as sad as possible. Just really suffer it out. But that's the thing, like it's such a... Because the number of people who've seen you lifting the dinnies who have no idea what they are, no idea who Donald Dinny was, no idea where Portark is, or what it is, or if it's a place, or a bridge, or a hotel, like... And you've just gone, oh no, these rocks are really fucking cool. Yeah. And the whole world's just gone, oh shit, yeah. They were just lifting up weird rocks. Yeah. So you've been there for a few years, obviously seen like you and Matt and Stig and everyone going on stone tours. Yeah. Have you done many of the 19 other Scottish lifting stones?
There's a poster of the stone behind us if you're wondering what Dan's looking at. Yes, so I have done and loaded the Putherac stone. Which is... is it not on the thing? It's down here somewhere. It's a lower one. It's in Perthshire. But yeah, I've done that one and loaded it to the plinth. That was very cool. And Saddling Mare I've also lifted to chest. But that plinth is very, very high. So,
yes, and you're not.
Yeah, so I haven't put it to the plinth yet, but it's something I do want to do. Lee Holland Keane has done quite a lot of the stones, and she was the first woman since Jan Todd to lift the stone, so she reopened the gates for women to do it, and got Jan Todd's lift. She got the wind beneath the stones. Yeah. Lee it was such a good lift. Like we were there for it, and it was.
Was it at the gathering, or was it? Oh, that's fucking cool.
Amazing. So Lee's done a lot of the stones. I think Annika, who holds the record on the actual Dinny stones, she held them for like 10 seconds. Unassisted hook grip.
No.
Mad. Yes.
That's fucking nuts.
I think she's done a couple of the stones as well. There are other ones that I want to do, but they're really hard.
Yeah.
They're really hard. And heavy.
Something we noticed after, what comp was it? Rogue Invitational, when they had the replica Inverstones. And people are like, oh, Tom will win this event. I'm like, they're not, like, he will do a stone run up to a 300 kilo stone and be better than anyone who's ever lived. But you give him like a 110 kilo natural stone
It's different.
And it's just different.
Yeah.
Like, it's so... Like, there are really good stone lifters who can't lift the equivalent weight on an Atlas stone.
Yeah.
And there are really good Atlas stone lifters who will... I mean, no one's lifting like a 300 kilo natural stone.
Can you imagine?
Like, that's...
And there's no tacky on natural stones either.
No towel, just chalk.
Disrespectful, that is, Dan.
Go use them on the Inverstones.
Chalk is what people will use in Scotland.
And
you take a tacky towel to a natural stone in Scotland, you'll get your arse kicked, my friend.
Just resentment for the English.
Yes.
Seeping
exactly,
out of
yeah.
you.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. That's rude.
Because that is the thing, I think...
They didn't have tacky towels when they were in the clans doing the kind of, what's it called, like rite of passage thing, like manhood.
Yeah,
They didn't whack out their tacky towel, like, let me just tack you up before,
Yeah,
before
but
I
did they lift
pick
them?
this up and prove my manliness.
Do you think all of the stones were lifted in the manner originally that people say they were lifted in?
Not all of them were like lifted. So the Bear stone, which is right up the top.
Where are we?
It might be like here. Is it? No.
Number
4.
4.
Yeah, it's not. It's very high.
105 kilo natural stone.
Yeah, that's the next one I really want to get. So.
And it's very close to the Saltmans.
Yeah, it's so cool. So it's in like a cemetery type set in an old church.
The lads have done a video there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom was not interested. It was really funny video.
It's so cool though. And basically what used to happen with that stone is that people who had done naughty things were put in like this little kind of grave. It was in the floor.
Right.
A slab was put on top of them, but exposing their head. And then the Bear stone was put on top of that so they couldn't get out.
Right.
And now people press it above their head. So
yeah,
there's history behind it, but now we lift it.
Yes.
Whereas things like, I think it's the, oh my God, what's it called? This is going to be really awkward on the thing when they're like, what are they looking at? So the Castle Menzies stone, that was, like, there's clan history that they used to have to, like, pick it up and go a certain distance with it.
So similar to, like, the Husafell, the history of that, like, it's recorded that...
Yeah, so that's what they would do then, whereas now people do pick up and carry it, but they've also become this culture of, like, getting it to chest, getting it to shoulder, pressing it.
Yeah.
So I think not all of them are lifted in the same way that they were with clan history, but the people that go and lift them are aware of the clan history behind them.
I think that's important to carry on, because I remember, I can't remember which stones it was, but there's a big thing about them getting damaged and people disrespecting stones or dropping them from overhead and doing all this, and it's like, just fucking don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like,
it's rude.
Like it's literally a piece of history. Like, you wouldn't go into a museum and just be like, I'll just knock that over.
Yeah, just slash Tutankhamun's mask in half.
Yeah.
Do it.
Well, the English probably would, but sort of.
Moving on.
It's our jam. Like, fuck up a bit of history, but it's only native, so who cares?
Yeah.
Like, so, Heavy Bren is coming.
Yeah.
What is the plan for Heavy Bren?
So, I have a call with Jenny. Jenny Todd's my coach. Tomorrow, where we're going to put a proper plan of action in place. This year, for me, my goal is, like, OSG is where I'm heading. That's my priority.
And that's as a, is it light middleweight?
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
you call it. Under 73. It's under 73. That's my, like, international debut at that weight class. And I don't just want to make up the numbers. Like, I really want to do well.
Yeah.
So my focus is on that. There's a lot of opportunities coming up over here in terms of comps. A lot of cool things. Obviously, I got massive FOMO when Brits was at the Doncaster Dome last year. It looked lots of fun. And the fact that 73 kilo class is its first year, and I've been really trying to push it for years.
Yeah.
So I want to be part of that. So I just need to... The qualifiers in a couple of weeks, I'd just be turning up and hoping for the best.
Yeah, that'd be awkward.
But it's a possibility. So, yeah, what's next for me is OSG, and I'd like to get a hold on the actual Dinny Stones as like a separate fun goal.
Yeah.
And competitively, I need to make some decisions, basically.
Yes. So when you say the actual Dinny Stones, the ones at the Arnold are, I suppose you'd say, the historic replicas.
Yeah, so Rogue, I think they took like a cast of the originals.
I learnt a thing. So they'd lost the original Dinny Stones, or they couldn't be found. So the ones you lifted were the replicas that Donald Dinny's son got made.
Okay.
And then Bill Henniger or Bill Crawford took them to America when they found the actual Dinny Stones.
Ah, that's cool.
So that's because like the Husafel they've made is a laser scan of a Husafel stone that they've then
I thought that's what they'd done for the Dinny.
No, they're
that's
OG.
Cooler.
So like before they found the Dinny Stones, the ones you lifted were the Dinny Stones.
Mint.
So it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That was like one of my favourite. Like the Arnold was great. People like podiumed and won stuff like whatever. But getting to speak to like Steve Slater and his crew about like everything they've done and how they make kit, and like talking about the Austrian oak, and they're saying like, "Oh, Terry Todd just knew someone," and then telegraph poles turned up, and they turned that into the Austrian oak. And like their frames balanced, like if you put a coin on one corner, it'd drop.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't strongman anymore. Like this is engineering. Like gone are the days of like being in a car park in the north somewhere where it's like
different yokes.
Yeah, it's like make sure you get the light yoke. It's like what the fuck does that mean?
Everything should be calibrated and the same.
It's like no, there's 100 kilo difference in the yokes. Like good luck. Have you? I mean, that just thinking about the fact that like the stones you lifted are much fucking cooler than like the engineering side of replicating stones is fucking crazy. But to get to like if they hadn't refound the original Dinnies, the ones you lifted would be still up in Scotland, being called the Dinny Stones.
Yeah.
So do you just feel like you could just turn up and lift the Dinnies? Because you've got the wind beneath the ones in Scotland.
Yeah.
Do you feel like immediately confident that you could just lift the...
No. Like, logically, I know I should be able to go up there and lift them, but I know just not to underestimate them. Like, I know people that have lifted them and gone to lift them again and they haven't done it. I know people that are, like, extremely strong and I've watched them fail those stones. Like, you just cannot underestimate it, and I think when you become complacent, you're going to fail it. And I wouldn't want to just be that person that's like, I can go and do it, because, like, it's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Like, I failed it twice at the Arnold before I got it.
Yeah, which
it's not like it was easy.
Fucking stupid, by the way.
It's not like it was easy. So, like, I'm going to be doing a lift at the gathering, and I'm nervous as hell for it, because I'm like, everyone's seen me do that lift. What, like, if I fail it, I look like a right knob.
Yeah,
and I know that that's a possibility, so I'm going to work to make sure that doesn't happen. Like, I know I need to do some level of training.
Yeah. Why, as someone who's hopefully going to lift, why are they so hard? Because like, they're uneven.
Yeah.
But if you know you can lift it, why can't you lift? Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously...
It's the Dinny Stones, Dan. No one can tell you why. That's just the way they are.
Just magic stones.
Exactly.
And they're so fucking depressing to try and, like, even light weights on handles. Just like, I've grated all the skin off my legs.
I think it's like an exact positioning. Like, I always say to people, the Dinnies isn't necessarily about strength. Donna Moore and Rebecca Roberts are stronger than me. There's no question about that. They are stronger than me.
Yeah.
Right? Agreed?
Yeah.
My positioning and technique on that day was better, which is why I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So if your positioning is slightly off when you go up and do it, even if you've done it before, it's not happening. And I think that it's like an exact science, and like it needs to be spot on or it's not
So is that why you got Matt to set the stones up for you?
Yeah, because if they would have been set up wrong, I wouldn't have done it.
That's really interesting.
So I was like, I'm going to go get myself ready. You know what works for me and where they need to be. Please go do that.
Yeah. That is... Because it's strange, like, Matt's done me a dinny plan using some handles.
Yep.
And the first, like, 2 sets was moving my feet, like, half an inch each lift to be like, God, this feels impossible. Oh, this doesn't feel too bad.
Yeah.
You're like, how can... It's fucking nuts. And there, was it 188 and one... Wait, I can just
144.
look. Yeah. Or just no.
Heavy.
So, a question people have asked, I think in comments on Loz's video when we talked about the Arnold, I've been like, what could you pull from, like, 15 inches as the pickup on the dinnies?
What, on a barbell?
Yeah.
What could I deadlift? I don't know. Like, I think the dinnies are like 20 inch, and I've maxed out on an 18 inch and got 240.
Yeah, so you're like 100 kilos short of dinny weight.
Yeah.
Which shows that it's not.
And that's with straps.
Yeah, and you went straight to the thumb.
Yeah.
Just pure fucking suffering time.
Yeah.
How, like, so do you think, say, like the nickel walking stones, is there any of that sort of stuff that interests you? Like walking with stones, or?
I hadn't thought about it, and then Matt was like, wouldn't it be cool if you did a side-by-side with the nickel stones? Oh, and maybe try walking with it. So, like, because, so my thing is, right, I want to be the best strong woman I can possibly be.
Yeah.
I don't want to specialise in one thing because it will detract from my performance in other events.
But that one thing is fucking cool.
It is cool. But I need to keep that head on me and not let the fact that I've just done this cool thing detract from my big goal.
You don't want to be that woman who lifted the dinny stones.
I want to be that really good strong woman.
Who also lifted the dinnies, walked with the nickel stones.
So I'd love to do more stuff with the stones, and like the nickel stones is something that's definitely on my list to tick off. But I also don't want to just focus my training on that, and like you said, don't want to just be known for that, because, like, in all honesty, in the lead up to that record, I knew about it the day before we flew out, so there wasn't an awful lot of specific work that went into that. All the specific hard work was in the prep for that competition, which I worked so hard for, and so I work hard to be a strong woman. Yeah,
by being strong, you lifted the dinny stones.
Yeah, because I was I'd peaked for strength.
Like you got as strong as you could get. So why not do this cool thing? It was such a nuts atmosphere as well. I think I've got a feeling the lads had just turned up or about to turn up. So I was in like panicky work mode because I ran over to your axle press on the main stage, which, let's not call it the main stage, because
the strongman arena.
Yeah, it's fucking sick. It's like 6 blokes watching bodybuilding, or like the main stage where all the people were.
With seats and bleachers and everything.
Yeah, the TV bit.
Yeah.
But I ran over to you, said some probably offensive things to you before an axle press. Then saw like half of your reps, started to walk away, and then you were like, I've got to go and lift the fucking dinnies. I was like, okay.
I'm coming.
Ran across the Arnold, and it's Chloe's like putting a kilt on. She's just gonna kilt, walking boots, and then we'd seen Donna tried and didn't manage to lift them. Mm-hmm. Rebecca tried and didn't manage to lift them, and the guys were like, the showrunners were saying like, oh, we'll have another attempt soon. You can use straps, and I think it was Donna, maybe the first one, who turned around to them and went, we're not going to need it. Like, she's going to do this. And they're like, yeah, all right. Like, you guys have failed.
Yeah.
How's, like, this tiny woman going to do it? And they were the guys who'd worked, like, the pro men show. So I'd been with them, like, all weekend. And they came up and they're like, that is the most impressive thing we've ever seen at the Arnold. Like, yeah.
I just find that, like, that it's been so crazy. Because you know what I'm like. Like, nothing changes me. I'm just...
Chloe fucking Brennan.
Like, just Bren. So, like, when I'm being mentioned in the same sentences as, like, Donna Moore, Andrea Thompson, when I'm being mentioned in the same sentences of, like, Alexei Novikov and Luke Stoltman and Martins, and there's 2 posts of Martins on Rogue and me in the middle of it, and it's just a bit like, ooh, that's weird, because I don't see, like, we had this conversation a lot when we were out there, like, I don't see myself as, or didn't see myself as a top level strong woman. I see myself as, like, pushing into that bracket, but not quite there. So that was a moment where I was like, ooh, I've done something that, like, people think is that cool. And that's
I think my
weird.
absolute favourite thing was when you're walking, like, between the floor seating and the bleachers, and there was this massive fucking cheer, and I remember you looking round to see what
was going on.
Like, oh, someone cool must be here. Like, no, that's for you. Like, because you've done this.
And then I just cried.
I'm just going to cry now.
So many people were waiting for, like, photos and stuff. And I was just there, like... I was in these photos, I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm crying in your photo.
Just ugly crying.
I was like, it's okay.
But it just showed, like, there's no bullshit, though. Like, you've done something cool, but you did it because that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
like, there's no promotion. It's not, oh, if I do this, I can get these followers, I can do this.
I didn't think I was going to win it. I did it because I was like, that's a cool event. Oh, and I get to compete with the strongest women in the world. What an opportunity. So
endearing, like, beforehand, where you're like, I just want to compete with Donna. Like, I get to be on stage with Donna, and then after you're like, you beat her though. And you're like, oh, I fucking did. It's Donna Moore though.
I still think it's so cool that I was sat with current World's Strongest Woman, Becca, and 3 times World's Strongest Woman, Arnold Pro winner, Donna Moore.
Like, the big Z of strong woman.
Yeah, and I'm like, me.
Getting ready to do the same thing. And it was... That's the thing that I found really... Like, I loved about the Arnold was... There weren't a lot of Brits there, but we just became a little unit, occasionally pulled... like, ambassadors from other countries in.
Yeah.
Like, you're Polish, yeah? It's like, it's like, not anymore.
You're British now.
You are now British.
I loved it.
This is the Spice Girls.
And, like, competing with Dale was so much fun. I think we're both, like, we're there to do a job and we want to do well, but we also don't take ourselves too seriously. So it was really nice to compete with someone that has quite a similar approach.
Like... It's time to switch on. Mm-hmm. Whistle's gone. Event's over. It's time to switch off.
Yeah, and sing Spice Girls.
Yeah, really badly.
That's a lie.
Has it got to the rap bit yet? Yes, got it. The whitest thing anyone's ever said.
So here's the story from A to Z. You want to get... Oh, stop.
Copyright strikes and stuff.
It was less than 7 seconds. It's fine.
I'd love you to sing the whole thing, but... It's copyright, you know.
Sorry.
I've not got that scary Spice money. But it's so interesting, because people always think, like, World's Strongest Man's going to be, like, really intense, and, like, everyone fucking hates each other. Mm-hmm. And other than 2 people who realistically just need to fuck and get it over with.
Them airtime.
Just have sex and be friends. That's,
I mean, I don't get that far with my
but that's what they need to do. Like, that's the level they're at. Like, is this what you want? Like, if red lights come on after the boxing, I'm not watching the live stream anymore. Just some bad 80s bass line. It's like, oh, yep, they're doing it.
Where is this going?
But it's just not, there doesn't seem to be any, to be honest, it's just novices. Like, shit novice strongmen are, like, the worst people in the sport. Mm-hmm. But when you get to, like, backstage at the Arnold, it's really intense, but it's not unfriendly.
Yeah, it was... I really noticed it. So it was very strange. So I knew a few of the girls there and was very chatty with them all weekend. And then it got to like after squat before stones.
Yeah.
So like last event, this event's deciding the placing, and we didn't look at each other.
No.
So it's gone from like let's hug and be friends to like now it's business.
Yeah.
But then immediately after,
I mean, you nearly had to shave most of your hair off.
it's still so dry. But that's it, and there's times when you're competing where you're like, I want to kick your ass. But you still love them.
Yeah, because...
There's no genuine hatred, it's just competitiveness.
I think it's because everyone who's doing it or involved in it knows how fucking hard it is. Like, it's really hard to be there anyway. But then to perform well in like a 3-day show, which is a heavy show, some fucking mad decisions with some of the events where the lightweight men were throwing bags like 90 metres in the air. Like, it's brutal. So everyone just goes, we're all in this shit together, and whoever's the best is going to win.
It's going to win, yeah.
So why be a dick? And I've noticed that, like, Holly won, and you looked probably as happy as if you'd won the Arnold.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit in me like, oh, damn. But I could not argue with it. She performed better than me all weekend on most events. That stone load she did at the last minute was insane.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Like, if I would have beat that, that's not fair. Like, she was better than me.
Yeah.
So she won. And I've competed with Holly on several occasions now, and it's always like, like, she was 4th and I was 5th at Worlds.
Yeah.
We competed at the Arnold together last time, so we've become quite good friends. And we'd said when we found out that it was going to be stones, we were like, it's going to be me and you battling for 1st and 2nd at the end. So that end of like hug was like, yes, I was saying to her, you're the fucking Arnold champ, but it was also like, we did what we said we were going to do.
Yeah, like, we're 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And
whichever way around that is.
Sort of alright with.
Sort of alright. I mean, I would have liked to have won, but I didn't.
That's the thing, like, I've said with obviously coaching 2 brothers. It's like, I want them to be 1st and 2nd. They can fucking argue about who comes where.
Which, yeah.
And that's the thing, like, you knew you'd be in the top 2. Like, on some level, that must have been like, oh no, this is what I'm here for. And if you're going to come 2nd, coming to 2nd's someone you like.
Yeah, and respect to someone that did well.
Yeah, like, it's better than, well, they just fucking cheated. Like, or trying to make a sport shit because you need more money. But like, that level of total respect amongst the athletes, you see it with like the pro men where people are like, oh, it must be really tense backstage. It's like, not really, like, because it's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And you go, and the amount of times like a pro, like the men's comps when they're big, they're like, it's a big show. Like, you could earn a year's worth of fucking money in a night. The amount of people who forget tacky, or it's like, oh, I've got no like tape, and
they lend it them.
Yeah, whereas you could just be like, well, fuck then, aren't you? Like,
yeah.
That was really stupid.
Yeah.
But I think you never want to win because other people fuck up.
Exactly.
Like, you want to beat the best people there.
Yeah, and it's when we were at Worlds last year, I was sharing a house with Rhiannon Lovelace and Kate Connolly, who I was competing against and were contenders for the top spots.
Yeah.
Like, all 3 of us wanted to be on that podium.
Yeah.
But we all respected how hard each of us had worked to get to where we were, and were more than happy to support each other all through that.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how the sport is.
You just couldn't imagine if you or Rhea or Kate like, oh, I've not got any tacky. You'd be like,
can you imagine?
Like, oh, that's awkward. I've got loads. I've put some on my legs.
Everyone actually used my spider. There's a thing, like, the spider tack, in my opinion, is the only one worth having.
We'll argue about that at some point.
Well, everyone uses it. So when we were at the Arnold, everyone used my tacky. It was a full pot, and then it wasn't.
It really
at Worlds
wasn't.
even. And then at the Arnold, Dad was like, I've got this. And I was like, but look what I've got. And it's like, oh. So then we all use my tacky again.
Then he popped his hamstring. So
I'm not responsible for that.
no, we were sat waiting to go out, and he went, "My hamstrings feel like really good and tight for this event," and I was like, "Okay, like if that's what you want, mate. Like I'm not like you're literally about to go out, so I'm not gonna say anything." One stone lift.
Pop, pop.
I was like, "Well, just do it 3 more times." But that's like getting to, because I've known Dale for ages. I coach Dale. I've got so much respect for him as an athlete and a person and a coach and what he does. But then to like share an apartment with him, you realise he's just really fucking nice. Yeah. Like he's just a nice guy. Like we go out for breakfast every morning, go to the Olive Garden every night.
Creatures of habit.
Not a high functioning autism. Like, welcome to strength sports.
Well, yeah.
Because if it wasn't for that, we'd do team sports.
I could. This is an interesting fact, actually. Not fact, like maybe an interesting topic of conversation to tangent off on. Because why not? Team sports, I can't do it.
Hate them
because I hate depending on other people. So Matt loves team sports.
No,
he's like, why don't you do it? And I'm like, because I depend on myself and no one else. And that's true for like most areas of my life. But I just think it's interesting.
One reason I stopped playing rugby was because I realised no matter how hard I try, we could still lose.
Yes.
And I don't agree with that.
I'm the same. I'm like, if I perform well, I should win something.
Yep. Not
lose.
Oh, you're lazy, so I have to lose.
Yeah,
brilliant.
That's not fair. I'm glad I felt like we would agree on this one.
Yeah, no, 100%. Weirdly, Shiv also likes team sports. As we've discovered, we're dating the same person. Yeah. Basically.
It's funny. And we're more similar than we probably ever realised.
Yeah, like, God, don't you hate this? It's like, yeah. That's awful. God, why do people do that? It's just, team sports really get on my tits.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny because we've just spoke about the camaraderie in strongman.
But you only depend on yourself.
On yourself, yeah.
And that way you can be mates with everyone. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't matter. Like, if we were competing, which would be a slight mismatch in weight, but depressingly a mismatch the other way in strength, which is shit.
It might happen.
Like, I would want you to perform as well as you can. Mm-hmm. And then if I win, I've beaten someone who was trying really hard. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Although I did say that to Maxime before the stone. I looked at the scores and him and Luke were tied. And I was like, Maxime, I love you, man, but for the next 10 minutes, fuck you. And he's like, hey, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
And after, like, big hug. And you're like, well, not even after. Like, as he's getting ready, you're like, fucking smash this, man. Let's get a good... People are like, why are you supporting the people? Because I want him to do well.
And I think me and Matt have spoken about this as well, which is really cool. Like, when you're there, like, you're a genuine fan of the sport as well.
It's fucking sick. That's right.
Which is really cool, like, because there's so many people that are just there and they seem to just be there. But you were so invested in everyone, and like, you're not my coach. You didn't have to help me, but
I did have to help you because that's
because that's you, and because you want people to do well. You genuinely care, and you just enjoy being there, which was really nice.
Jump on that bandwagon. I was like, she's probably going to lift the dinnies. So if I'm in the background of a lot of videos, 6 more followers.
Woohoo!
But that's the thing, like. Even with like not the pro women, so the record breakers, like Olga asked for help, so I'm going to help Olga. Mm-hmm. But we're also helping Donna.
There was one point where I had Donna's tacky in one hand, Olga's tacky in the other, and I'm like, who wants what? I've got them both, but I'm like, grip.
Just like
2 of the strongest women in the world grabbing at my arms.
Isometric lat pull down.
Like,
but that's the thing, like. If Olga had lifted that stone, I'd have been fucking buzzing.
Yeah.
If Donna had lifted it, I'd have been fucking buzzing. If any of the other girls had lifted it, you'd be fucking buzzing. Because you get to see someone lift a really heavy stone.
Yeah.
But I'm never... It's like, I coach Dale, and like David in the opens, but there's like other guys coming up and they're like, oh, what do you reckon? It's like, yeah, man, I'm not going to tell you my secrets because I figure stuff out a bit differently. And if I can gain an edge for my athletes in some way, then I'll do that. But if it's like, oh, I wouldn't wear those shoes, like that is the wrong choice to make.
Yeah.
I always tell someone.
Yeah.
And strongman's really fucking cool.
Yeah, it is.
And I've built a career on shouting at small women. I'm not going to stop doing that.
Isn't it mad though, like, now that we can make a career out of this? Like, I remember being on podcasts a couple of years ago and they're like, oh, would you ever coach, or like, could you do strongwoman as a job? And I was like, oh, I'd love to do that.
It's never going to happen though. So, oh, there you go.
And now it's happening. Like, that is cool.
Well, was it when we were either bowling or shooting, which was fantastic.
Doing an activity.
Well, like, I remember me and you were like, this is our job.
Pretty much.
Like, granted, like, this bit isn't our job, but we get to do this. Like, I checked my phone and said, oh, client's checked in, I'll respond to that. So, that's my work done now.
Yeah.
Like, and we are so fucking fortunate that, like, I know everyone who's got a cool job says it, but we've got the best fucking job in the world.
We're fortunate, but we've worked for it.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of fell into it. And then
I always say, oh, I'm really lucky to do what I do. But actually, it's not luck.
Kicked ass. Like,
it's not luck. Like, I worked really hard to do. I was running a business and working a full-time job and training and doing other stuff. Like, it's not luck. And
no, that's the thing that, again, I'm really into Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura and all them, and they were saying, like, I'm not fucking lucky. Like, I've been fortunate in the, like, say, I was in a situation where I could help Tom, and from that, I've become the Stoltman coach.
Yeah.
But I could very easily have fucked that up.
Yeah.
And not coach Tom, or not coach Luke. Like, yeah, fortunate, but not fucking lucky. Like,
you've grafted for
worked. Like, I was living on a fucking $5 a week at one point. Because I was like, this is the job I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's, like, I genuinely would make a choice of, like, when I was living near Stoke, I'd drive up to Preston to coach, and I'd be like, I'm going to buy, like, whole milk, because that's calories and it's cheap.
Yeah.
Because, like, eating, like, actual food.
It's too expensive.
Yeah, because it's, like, fuel for the car or for me. And, like, I went through that, because that's what I wanted to do. Because I want to do the fucking job I do, where I get tops with Stoltmans on it.
Did you know he coaches the Stoltmans?
No one knows that.
Oh, we weren't aware.
Who?
A bit of an in-joke. We spent the whole of the Arnold.
Literally all of it.
Going to Dan either. We're at the Arnold, or do you coach the Stoltmans?
Because it was,
I didn't know.
I had a pass that just said Stoltman coach, and then because they have merch, I now have their clothes. Because I'm not going to spend money on clothes.
But you can get free ones.
But they all have Stoltman. I remember having like a coat on. Oh, when I flew back, I had a Stoltman coat on, like a big blue, one of the flannel jackets, and then a hoodie on.
A pink hoodie.
That was a Stoltman one, and underneath a Stoltman t-shirt, whilst wearing Stoltman shorts. And I was like, really on brand. But it's because I remember chatting to you maybe a year ago when you were like, I'm thinking of going full-time as a coach. And I was like, fucking do it. Like, if you've thought about doing it, then do it. And you're like, it's scary. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to lie. Like, yeah, this is scary, but if you want to do it, it's really fucking cool.
Best thing I ever did.
It is sick, innit?
It's so funny now, like, if I go to the shop or I'm driving somewhere and I see people in offices, I'm like, man, it must really suck to work for someone else and be stuck in a building for 8 hours a day.
Like 6 months ago.
Yeah, because you can sort your own, like, it's so freeing. Like, you can do what you want when you want and deliver the best service in the way that you want to deliver it. Like, it's just cool.
I'd say, like, if I can get on my phone and get on the internet,
could do your job anywhere.
Literally anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like I've been go to Wales, and it's like the good thing is with a lot of my clients that can just go like in a few weeks, like I'm racing, and it's like I'm racing today, so I'm not going to check my phone.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah, that'll be fucking cool.
Yeah.
So, oh, all right then.
Yeah.
So at the Arnold, I sent like a mass message out to everyone I coach, and I was like, I'm at the Arnold, like in case for some reason you're unaware of that.
I'm at the Arnold.
We're at the Arnold. And I'm like, I'm helping these people, so if you're watching the live stream, that's who we're like with.
Yeah.
Message me like if you're on fire or like dying. Otherwise,
or probably don't because you can't do anything anyway.
No, like not on the list.
Or if you're on fire, it might be hard to get to your phone.
Or like call the fire brigade first.
Yeah.
And then like a doctor.
Ambulance, yeah.
Then coach.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Well, isn't it funny how people actually come to us before a professional sometimes because you have such a good relationship with people?
Yeah, it's funny and really fucking annoying because they're like, oh, this has happened. I'm like, go to a doctor. Like that's.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I fell down the stairs at work and my foot's facing the wrong way. Am I okay to move squats? And I'm like, go to a doctor. Like, you are medically hurt.
Although, when Dale sends a picture of his leg black, you're like, yeah, looks fine.
It'll be alright. They'll buff out. Like, just don't pick stuff up.
But yeah, we have a cool job.
It is really cool. And the fact that, like, this is work. Like, we're both at work now.
Yeah.
Weird that people are watching us at work.
Yeah.
But I've driven, like an hour and a half down the road. Got a Starbucks on the way, that because I'm visiting someone, that's tax. Like, that's free money.
Yeah.
You go, and then I'm going to go home. I might get pizza. And then...
That's your day.
That's it. Really hard work. So I might do some sim racing at some point, but...
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's... So, I feel like we've talked around a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Why do you do this? Like, what? Let's get real deep real quick.
Great.
But why? Because, like, training's fucking hard. Mm-hmm. Competing's hard. Mm-hmm. Why?
I like doing stuff that's hard and I get bored. If I don't. No.
Wow, we're the same person.
I think so when I was a kid, I was always really sporty and my dream was to go to the Olympics. That's all I wanted to do. Really wanted to be an Olympian. Kind of fell in the wrong sport for that. So I'm like, I'm not going to get to the Olympics, but I can be really bloody good at this thing. Imagine being the best in the world at something. And I just, in whatever I do in life, I want to be the best at it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just a bit...
Other than shooting, you were not good at that.
I was better than Dale.
Yeah, which is impressive.
So I wasn't the worst.
Because at least you hit a target. It just wasn't the one.
It was the wrong one. Anyway, yeah, so I am just a very driven person and I always... I don't know, I like to have a goal, and if I don't have a goal I feel a bit lost and a bit without purpose, and I think I found this thing that I really enjoy. It makes me feel good. Like, my confidence has never been as good as it is. If you would have spoke to me 5 years ago, you would have spoke to a completely different person.
Yeah, how long have you been in Strongwoman? Are you like
5 years-ish?
Because I'm trying to think, like, I think I knew you at your first, maybe second year competing. Mm-hmm. When was England's at the Castle?
2018, so that was my second year.
Yeah, so I got in the end of the year before, but you were just, like, someone on the scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, you weren't who you are now. Like, I know everyone grows, but you're, like, different fucking person.
Yeah, and I like this version of me. I am like the core of who I am is still very much the same. Like, I'm still a nurse. I still love helping people, I'm still quite chirpy and happy. Like, that's just me, but I think it's my confidence and self-belief that back then I was always thinking, what if I fail? And I was driven but never really believed in myself.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, if I work hard to do something, I can achieve it. And I think that's why I keep doing it, because I'm like, oh, well, if I've just done that, then what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And it's really like, it's addictive and it's cool.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun. Like,
it is really
running
good
with
fun.
a car on your back is
yeah,
fun.
it's fucking nuts.
It's cool.
And there's, yeah, that's why I enjoy to keep, like, I want to be stronger than average people.
Yeah.
But I also want to do other shit. Mm-hmm. But then, like, we were at a racetrack a few weeks ago, and, like, the little cars. So it's like, I could pick one of those up. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you can't. I'm like,
watch me.
Yep. So then ended up doing it about 15 times, getting, like, a horrific lower back pump. Like, massive bruises across my back from where I'd picked the cars. I was like, no, that was worth it. But it is really cool, because, like, we're around, like, you ran with a fucking car. Mm-hmm. But then when you realise, like, just jamming yourself in the door and picking two wheels up, to normal people, that is fucking mind-blowing. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think one of the things with the Stones that's made them so interesting is they look like really big fucking stones. And I remember when I was speaking to Donna, she said, like, she wants strong man, strong woman to be cool. That's the point of it. Like, picking up 400 kilos on calibrated plates on a whippy bar, like, it's really impressive.
But outside of it, no one knows what that means.
Yeah, but, like, Worlds last year where they had the toolbox deadlift, mm-hmm. or running with a car, and, like, doing that sort of stuff, it's like how strongman should be. Yeah. It's like, oh, the people who throw fridges and do, it's like, sort of, but it's a bit more structured than it used to be, but now there seems to be a turn towards just picking up weird, heavy
more
shit.
Traditional strongman stuff, yeah.
Which is good, because it's really fucking cool. Mm-hmm. And you ran with a car, which is just really quickly as well. Like, you didn't, like, shuffle with a car.
Have you seen the, like, meme thing that Official Strongman put up? And it's, like, that video with the voiceover, like, I'm fast as fuck, boy. I don't think you know how fast I am. It's my favourite thing ever.
It is. I do fucking love it. Like, that's the thing I really... Like, the Arnold maybe nearly killed me.
You were so excited. I thought you were going to burst.
And I remember, like, one morning saying, like, how much blood is too much to come out of someone's nose every morning?
And you're like,
you're like, any blood is bad. I'm like, oh, well, every day. Like, I wake up and my nose was bleeding. But it just reminded me how much I love the sport, mm-hmm. and how much I enjoy helping people and seeing, like, cool shit happen. Mm-hmm. And lifting weird stuff is just good fun. Mm-hmm. What do you have rules for you? You know, like, so I've been reading a high performance book, mm-hmm. that Jake Humphries, the TV presenter, is fucking sick. And they're talking about rules of high performing athletes, mm-hmm. or high performing coaches. You may have noticed I turned up 5 minutes before we were meant to, and I will always be early, unless Shiv's involved, in which case I'll be angry and slightly late.
Yeah.
But do you have, like, because we're sat in your pretty cool conservatory, mm-hmm. so I feel like it'd be quite easy for you to just not bother, mm-hmm. because, like, the telly's just over there. Yeah. Like, you could come into here and, like, train and work hard.
Yeah.
Or, like, TV and pizza is that way. Like, do you have, like, training times, even if you're training at home? Is it like, at this time I'm going to train?
So it's interesting that you mentioned that book. I've read it recently as well. And
how good is that book?
It's brilliant. And it was funny because as I was reading it, I was like, oh, I do that.
Same.
Oh, that's me. And which was reassuring to know that I do what I should be doing.
Yeah.
But... yeah, so I am basically a robot. I love routine. if someone tells me to do something and I know it's going to make me be better,
So,
I will do it.
Literally a conversation I had with Shiv yesterday. Well, like, I'm going to maybe like go with Nathan Payton for nutrition. And she's like, but you know what you're doing? I'm like, I want someone to tell me. Because then I'll just do that forever.
Yeah.
Until they tell me to do something else.
Yeah, so I thrive off that routine, structure, repetition, not repetitive. Repetition. So I guess that's one thing. I just do what I'm told to do by people who know what they're saying.
Yeah.
I do train at the same time every day. I tend to go I go at 11 o'clock until however long it takes me.
Yeah.
It's always the same days unless something is on, and then it stresses me out because it's on a different day.
Yeah.
What other rules? I guess just always trying my best. Like, if it's any less than my best, then it's not good enough.
Yeah, I think we sort of touched on that before we started, that I would much rather fail trying really hard than just not try.
Because if you don't try, then you never know.
Yeah, and like being beaten's all right. Mm-hmm. The thing, like I've said to clients a lot, is being beaten is absolutely fine, but losing because you didn't try is just not acceptable. Like, we don't do that.
Yeah.
And that's, you realise that at like the top level where there's quite a busy calendar, sometimes you just have to sort of call it a day. Mm-hmm. But when the chips are down and it's like, we've got to fucking do this, like the best in the sport will just fuck themselves up. Yeah. Like, you couldn't walk before you squatted at the Arnold.
No.
Like, you were not in a good way.
No.
Like, you disappeared a dinny handle somewhere directly into the cheek.
Yeah.
And then couldn't really move that well. It's maybe the only time I've seen Matt carry a bag. Like, I should help her now. Like, she's hurt.
Yeah.
And then it was, no, it's squat time. Like, it's time to do this.
Yeah, and it was weird, like, that morning I was on the phone to Jenny, and it's mad, like, so I was talking to my coach, and that's the person that I should be telling how I'm really feeling, and I did to an extent, and I was like, last night I thought about pulling out of this and not doing it, with tears in my eyes, but not actually crying or letting anything off.
Yeah.
Because if I say to myself, should I pull out today, that's letting that negative thought in my head.
You've already sort of pulled out. I've been defeated.
So I was on there like, I'm going to go and try my best and it'll be fine.
It's going to be okay.
Whilst simultaneously sitting on the seat like this, because I can't put any pressure on my butt.
It was really cool to see, though. And I think, like, they all did it slightly more spectacularly.
Oh, God, yeah.
But that level of athletes where, I can't remember who it was, I want to say it's Stefan Solvi Peterson, who tore his bicep doing stones and had to load 5 stones. Like, I don't think his time mattered, but if he loaded 5 stones, he'd won Giants Live Sweden. Mm-hmm. So what he did was just load 5 stones.
Yeah.
And they're like, did it hurt? He's like, yeah.
I've never understood it. Like, when I've heard people say before they were injured and then they've done really well, I'm like,
you can't have been injured.
If you were really hurt, you couldn't have done that. But like, I was really hurt.
You were not well. Like,
I had to get, when we were doing the squat heights, I had to get people to hold it for me because, and that was like empty. So I was like, I don't think I'm good, but I don't know what happened, but it just happened, and it was.
You could see it though. Like, I said to Dale, before your stone as well, when we stood in the little bit before, and he was like, how is she? And I was like, fucking terrifying. She's like, what? It's Chloe. I'm like, no, that's not Chloe anymore. Like, she's going to fuck herself up to try and win this. She's like, it's Chloe, she's dead lovely. I'm like, not for like 5 minutes. Like,
and I think everyone knows me as this bubbly, like, well, I'm a bit of a weirdo. But when I want to do something, like if you look at my face before them dinners, I'm not like this.
No, you were picking them dinners up.
Yeah, and I think that's what you have to do. Like, you switch on, switch off, like we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
And you do become a different person. People are like, what do you think about it? Do you go to a deep, dark place? I'm like, no.
I'll think about picking that up.
I'm just looking at that.
Just want to pick that up until I can't pick it up anymore.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see, though, because like we had so much fun as a group.
Yeah.
But there was like 10 minutes over the whole weekend where it's like everyone changed.
Yeah.
Like in different, because obviously with how it works is like the lightweight women, then all the women's classes, and then the men would come in. So there was a bit of a break, but it was like you'd go out first and be like, yeah, let's fucking switch on. Then it's like, do you want to go get a coffee? You're like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then it's like, right, let's go. It's time to switch on again.
Yeah.
And then the pro men got there and were like, I don't get to switch off anymore.
Yeah, you didn't.
I remember Dale bringing me a sandwich.
Aww.
And he wasn't allowed back into the pro men's warm-up bit.
You have to stand there.
He literally stood there and someone was like, Dan, I think Dale's after you. And I was like, I can't speak to anyone. Like, the lads are warming up. I've got to be here for this. And then he sent me a message and was like, I bought you a sandwich. I gave it to Cushy. And I'm like, oh, so thanks.
He's so lovely.
He was. Like, it's just such a nice guy to be around. And really positive. But then I think we all sort of vibed off everyone switching on.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone was having fun or everyone was focused.
Yeah.
There wasn't like that one person who's too intense or one person who's been a dickhead.
No.
It was like, we're all on or we're all off.
Completely off.
Crying at fucking scooting around a town.
That wasn't crying with laughter, by the way. That was genuine pain.
My favourite thing was like, we caught up with Matt and he's like, did Chloe take the fun out of that? Because she does that. I'm like, fucking hell.
I was in so much pain. Basically, these little scooter things. And I'd done the dinnies, like, was it the day before or the 2 days before?
It was like the day before.
So my thumbs are pretty, like, they're still bruised.
Yeah.
I can confirm. 2 weeks later. So my thumbs are somewhere else. They're not attached to me. And my thumbs have to be out.
Like pressing
in the cold. Pressing this thing. And we've gone, what should have been like 10-minute journey.
What happened was...
We've been on these scooters about 40 minutes.
I think Matt put the driving directions in, which involved us going like round a one-way system instead of just... Because we'd been on for like 20 minutes and then we went... Isn't that where we left from?
So, anyway, my poor little thumb is hurting so
You were
much.
unhappy, to be fair.
And I don't like to take the fun out of things. I thought the scooters were a great idea, but I was in so much pain. And I was literally like, can we stop? Please.
Because I was trapped in that, the part of my brain that wanted to race Matt. And then the part of my brain that's like, still coachy. I was like, are you going to die?
Could have happened.
You're like, it really hurts my lower back. It's like, that's because you've not bent your legs at any point. You've used your SI joint as suspension.
I'll stick to strong woman and not scooting.
Yeah, scooting is not. Or duck pin bowling, but you did beat Matt.
I didn't lose.
You didn't lose. I really enjoyed that. The high functioning part really kicked in. I was like, Matt, this is fun, but I need to win now.
Please.
Like, this is good fun, but I'm going to get like 6 strikes in a row because I need to win.
And you did.
Yeah, like everything. Oh, let's have fun. Oh, bit of bowling.
Competition.
I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Like, I need to.
Can relate.
It's really funny, like, thinking of all the conversations me and Shiv have had. And then anytime we talk about anything, I'm like, I've heard this. I know where this goes. Did Matt say this next? You're like, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, weird. Shiv said that as well. So why can't you just have fun? It's like, because winning is fun.
Life is a competition.
Yeah.
Everything is a competition, and anyone who tells you any different
going to lose.
It's lying. I'm going to lose.
They're going to lose. Or they're cheating and planning on winning. So what I'll do is very professionally quickly look if there are any questions that appeared. They're questions for me, so you've not read it, so you can get fucked. I was always happy and cheerful as she seems in her videos. Probably.
Yeah. Everyone has bad days, but do you ever have a bad day?
Oh no, it's just all bad days. Occasionally there's a glimmer of hope, but mainly bad.
I mean, I'd like to think that I come across the same online as I do in person.
I think
what you see is what you get.
I feel like we're unsurprisingly fairly similar in that way.
Yeah.
That I will, as I feel like we know after too many years of knowing each other, I'm not filtering myself.
No.
In any way.
No.
Like life, internet, talking to the people I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I openly said, like, someone said, why don't we do that? I was like, I just think you're a dick. Like, that's why. Like, that's the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is you're being a dick. So,
yeah. I'd say I'm as happy and cheerful as I seem. And if I'm having a bad day, sometimes I pull a sad face and sometimes I cry.
Yeah.
But then, not long after,
fine again.
I'm all right.
But I'd agree with that because I've never been around you and been like, oh God, she's a fucking downer. Like, Jesus.
Apart from on the scooters.
The scooters, you were so unhappy.
I still laughed a little bit in between.
Yeah. When there was like perfectly smooth pavement, you're like, oh, this is good fun. Oh, bumped. Best technique for the din is
watch my YouTube video.
There will be a link in the description. Blah blah. YouTubey bollocks.
Great.
Pick them up.
Yeah.
Up is probably better than.
Don't deadlift them. That's it.
Yeah, I found that out. My back was unhappy after set one. So it's just picking stuff up.
It's a squat, not a deadlift.
Yeah, and it's harder than you want it to be.
Much harder.
But also not that hard. Like with the pins, it's like, it feels impossible. But if you just keep trying, then weight leaves the floor.
Patience.
And move your legs when you put them down, because I dropped it on my foot, and that was not good. That's like, do reps, like doing reps of pickups. I'm like,
you need to.
I'm like, how the fuck do you put it down?
Like this.
It's like, do reps. It's like, do one rep, then shuffle it back in. So this doesn't feel like reps. It's took a while. What advice would you give to girls and women looking to get into? They've put the sport, but I'm going to say sport. Let's not.
Okay.
Because you've tramapolined. You've tramapolining.
Yeah.
You've done all the flippy spinny shit. You've strongwomaned. You've Ioward.
Yeah. Athletics, football.
Like you have
sported.
You have sported. But what would you say? Like, I can't weigh in on this. Like,
yeah. I think it's just a case of there's going to be a period when you start that's going to be a bit uncomfortable because it's out your comfort zone, but don't let that put you off. People in strength sports specifically are very welcoming, very friendly, always want to help people out. So I'd say whatever, if it's strongman you want to get into, go find a strongman gym, talk to people, chat to us online. I know all the strong women I know are happy to talk to people who want to get into it and answer questions and the likes. There's so much out there online now that you can look at, like podcasts like this, where you can get a feel for it. Good. You're welcome. Or like if it's a sport, look at what clubs are local, chat to people, turn up, just do it.
Yeah.
Don't keep thinking what if, because my dad, Chloe Brennan, says you only regret the things that you didn't do.
True. It works.
My motto. Big Bren knows. Big
Bren. Well, Big Bren Senior, because Big Bren Junior is coming quick. 66 kilos of. But I'd say the one thing to add is no one really gives a fuck that if you're not very good at something, no one cares.
No.
Like, the big thing.
Equally, no one cares if you're very good at something, so either way.
The thing I've said to Shiv, which maybe people don't say to their partners that often, is you're not that special. like, to me, really special, great,
Well done.
lovely.
Well done.
But in the world, you're not that special. Like, everyone has a bad day. Mm-hmm. Everyone feels self-conscious. Everyone underperforms or overperforms and then has loads of pressure put on them.
Yep, know that one.
But, like, if you're involved in almost anything, like not just sport but business, life, everyone you interact with has been where you are in some way. They might have been there really quickly and like gone to the top of a sport really fast, but everyone's felt what you feel, and a lot of people have quit, but they've not proved anything to themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, you read about like Steve Jobs and people like that, and it's like, we had no money. Like, yeah, but I can't start a business because I'm not a millionaire. It's like, well, that's a really good time to start a business, because then you can't lose any money because you have no money. And like, you can't underperform at something
if you're not good at it in the first place.
Yeah. So just fucking try and you'll get better.
True.
And if you don't get better and you have fun, no one fucking cares.
As long as you enjoy it.
Like, just have fun, because eventually we're all going to die. So be happy.
Yeah.
Or you're going to die. So
like, forever.
Like, there are your options.
This is as steep as it's got.
It's me and you. It's me and you are like, yeah, death's fine. It's going to happen. But you know, in a number of years, we might just be like, oh my god, this is it. It's happening. But that's it. Like, why? There was, I think it was Sterling Moss, a racing driver, who said, like, we are all going to die, so why think about it every day? Like, just fucking have fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's inevitable. Pop that over there.
Yeah.
Just live. And yeah, because picking stuff up's fucking cool. Racing cars and climbing and all that. Is hook grip always awful? Yes.
Yeah. People are like, oh, do I have to use a hook grip? It really hurts.
So, could you have the strongest hands in the world?
Yeah, it does hurt. Deal with it. If you want to pick up stones, you're going to have hurty thumbs. When I actually trained for the Dinnies, my thumb changed shape from grip. Luckily, because I didn't get a chance to train for this, I'm just stuck with a bruise. But
the bruising is weird, because I've done one Dinnie, poop thumb.
It looks like I've wiped and missed, but it's a bruise.
But with both thumbs. Really committed missing. Well, that hand didn't work. Let's try the other one.
I won't mind.
Well done for not becoming a GIF. But yeah, like one Dinnie session, light, like 50%, 55% of Dinnie weight, bruised thumbs.
Yep.
Tomorrow's Dinnie session, I'm going to get bruised thumbs.
Yep.
I've got multiple heavy singles.
Yep.
It says 1 to 3 reps, but that's singles, isn't it? Like, realistically. Like, 5 sets of 1 to 3 reps is 5 singles.
So the competitive person in me goes, I'm not going to let them other reps go away. I'm going to do 5 sets of 3 at the weight that I want to do 1 at.
Yeah, but man, bitchy little thumbs.
Be that person then, Dan.
Oh, no,
out if you
I'm
want
happy
2
with
reps.
that. I'll do doubles.
But yeah, hook grip hurts, deal with it.
What is the... So you have a video about lifting Dinnies.
Yes.
But if you were going to give like 3 quick tips for someone who, let's say, could almost lift the Dinnies or wants to go up there, like, what would you say your 3 boom, boom, boom?
Focus on the big stone, have your torso upright, keep pulling. Because it feels like you're not going to lift it at the start. I
really, like, it, with lightweight on pins, it really feels like it's not going to fucking move.
I didn't think I'd lifted it when that's why I'm like...
I noticed. It was adorable. I love, because there were 3 or 4 judges.
Yeah.
I think 1 on each side. And they each raised their hand and then looked at the other judges and were like, your hand's up as well. This is fucking cool. It's like, no one thought that had happened. And to do it on the 3rd attempt is fucking nuts.
Just needed to practice.
We needed to get that fucking tape off your thumbs as well.
Yeah.
Don't use tape if you're hook gripping. Like, Because it
Depends on the
moves.
tape. I just
It's
use
slippy.
rubbish tape. Yeah, I wouldn't use it now. Matt used it. Depends. In training, to protect them a bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, on the things, probably not.
Yeah, because don't add a thing that can slip. That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
It was fucking cool, though. Sort of doing it on the third made it a bit better.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's not going to do it. It's like, no, she is.
There's a video of, like, my mum and Matt's family got together to watch it.
That is adorable.
And they sent a video of them watching it, and all you can hear in the background is Matt's dad going, "No, she's failed the first attempt. She won't do it now. Nobody does it after they've failed it."
Yeah. Fuck you, guy.
I did that.
It was really fucking cool. Like, I've said in every video about the Arnold, like, it's one of the best things I've seen. Because it was fucking sick. And I think if it'd just been you trying the dinners, it'd have been like, oh, it's quite cool. Mm-hmm. But to see the greatest female strong woman, the greatest female strong man? The greatest strong woman.
The greatest strong woman of all time. There you go.
To see Donna Moore, like, not lift them. To see Becca Roberts, who's so fucking strong. Then for you to come out and do it did make it a bit cooler.
Yeah.
Because it was fucking sick. And Arnie shared it, and
that was cool.
Yeah.
And Ed Cohen knew who I was.
Yeah, that wasn't annoying. Fucking prick. Fucking hate him. Shit powerlifter.
For context, Dan asked me to take a photo of him and Ed Cohen. So I did, and he's like, "You're the girl that lifted the stones, right?" And
I'm in the picture with you. Pay attention to me.
Do you not know who I am?
No? Okay. But it was fucking sick. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because we've done
a lot of talk.
An hour and 40 minutes.
That's a lot. I feel like any more might be information overload, but it's been real nice to do this, and my tummy's rumbling now.
Big Brand's coming. Big Brand's coming. 12 meals a day.
Not yet. Maybe one day.
Oh, that'd be good. Go into the opens. Get real juicy.
I know what I love that.
But fucking massive. Like, Bren's here.
Here she is.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me in your gym full of weird shit that you and Matt have curated over.
Matt's curated.
Yeah, a lot of Matt.
I observe.
There is some weird shit.
And occasionally play. I like the hub. I got, like, the world record weight on the hub once.
What? Why don't you... Oh, for fuck's sake, Chloe.
I didn't know what I was doing, Matt would do this, but okay.
So, I'm better than anyone.
It's been beaten now, but... Yeah, so there was a video where Steffi Cohen was doing it, and I was like, I got more than that.
That's really cool.
And that was cool, because it's the only thing I'd ever beat her on.
Powerlifting total. No, just the hub.
Just the hub.
Just the hub.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I haven't done.
It is a cool wall, though. It's this thing is awful.
We like darts more, really. We've got a little disco light over there, so when it gets dark, you put the light on and it spins around the dartboard.
That sounds loads better than like training and trying hard.
Yeah.
Is there anything coming up in terms of media, social media stuff?
I mean, my YouTube channel's growing. I'm trying to put more on there. So if you type in Chloe Brennan Strong Woman, it'll come.
I'll put a link as well in the description because that's what real YouTubers do.
Excellent. So click the link in the description and make
really well done. That was a smooth take.
Sure, you subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram if you want.
Everyone does.
Chloe Brennan X.
Literally everyone follows you on Instagram now. Like all the people. It's so
weird though, because like you think it's just your page on your phone, but if you put 35,000 people in front of you, that's a lot of people.
That's loads of people.
It's a lot of people.
Like that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
They all follow you.
But yeah, really, not anything special going on. I'm just doing my thing.
Yeah, and doing a good job of it.
Thanks.
Because it's good to see. It's just a little Bren. We're probably going to lift some Dinny Stone handles at some point.
Yeah.
We will then inevitably organise a ridiculous road trip to Scotland.
It's happening.
Maybe not at the gathering because it's scary.
People.
I want to lift them in front of 4 people.
Not 400 people.
Too many people. But thank you for having me down. Thank you for having a chat. Thank you for letting me shout at you at the Arnold.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I will you've already said it, Jenny Todd coaches Chloe Brennan.
Yes, she
Jenny
does.
is fucking incredible. As a coach, as a person, as an athlete, Jenny's fucking sick. But a lot of people assumed I coached you.
No.
No, I just shout.
You helped me a lot on that weekend. Don't knock it, but yeah.
But yeah, we're also check out
Jenny's
Jenny.
my
I've
coach.
chatted to her. She's fucking sick.
She's the best person. I love her.
She's ace. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, do some fucking YouTubey stuff. I need money for race cars, so
Can you edit a thing in when I do that?
no, absolutely not.